View, hello! Welcome to another episode of Maths Answers the Internet, the show where I, with an incredible amount of your help, endeavour to answer all of the world's burning board game questions. The internet's got questions and we've got answers. At least that's what I like to believe. And the first question we have is, were games really meant to be played hundreds of times? That's a great question. Of course, it's the nuanced answer. Not all games were designed to be played hundreds of times. Ticket to Ride Legacy, it's not designed to be played hundreds of times, but was Ticket to Ride designed to be played hundreds of times? Firstly, is that a fair expectation to have of a game? That you will play it hundreds of times? And then you have to ask, was it designed with that as a possibility? I've recently played, because of Board Game Arena, I've played White Castle 50 times this year. That's, to me, a lot of times to play any game at this point, while the White Castle remains one of my all-time bangers. I love that game so much. I'm a bit White Castled out. Now, is that my fault? Am I the one that's White Castled out? Or is it that the game just doesn't have 50 plays of interest in it? It's certainly got randomness with the dice. It's got a different setup each time. It has been designed in a way to give it not wildly different, but a different setup each time. And I've certainly learned that game to game, that can have a big change. I won't go into the details of White Castle too much, and I could. But certain layouts of cards that come up at the start of the game just don't allow for high-scoring games for anyone. You know, and sometimes you can do a courtesan action, which gets you a warrior action, which gets you a second gardener. Oh, it's fantastic. But I still would play White Castle. Maybe I just need a bit of a break from it. One question I feel like you can ask about this concept is, how many times do you have to play a game before you reach good replayability? Is 10 times good replayability for a game? Is that what we're saying? Is 20 times? Is 50 times good replay value? There are certainly games that some people have played hundreds and thousands of times. And there's a strange paradox here almost. I mean, not a paradox, but there's a strange thing that happens here is I personally find the more thematic the game, the lower the replayability. And the more abstract the game, the higher the replayability. Why is that? But this is a question of, were the games designed to be played that many times? And I don't think most games are. It's designed to be played and enjoyed and then put away for a few weeks, a few months, and then played again and enjoyed. It's not designed to be played over and over and over again. I think that's frankly an unfair expectation of a game. Is a TV show designed to be watched over and over again? No. A movie? No. A song? No. But there are those certain TV shows, the Trailer Park Boys, for instance, that I can watch over and over and over again because it becomes in itself a comfort to you. And games can have that as well, where the game itself is also a comfort. But as far as mechanisms go, and replayability, and different setups, and options, and avenues for success, and tactics, and different strategies, how could a game be played hundreds of times? But there are certainly games I could play and have played 100 times. So not many. I would say Castle Burgundy I've played over 100 times. But thanks to the advent of Board Game Arena and places like that, that's the only way that's ever been possible. I think we're all pretty unique people. We all have those games that we can play 100 times and never get tired of it. But I think overall, games probably weren't designed with that in mind. Not that they're solvable, but that you've explored all the avenues that the game has to offer. And expecting it to have infinite replayability is you're just going to set yourself up to be disappointed, because most games don't have that. But there are those games out there that do. And those are very special. What games could you play 100 times? What games have you played 100 times? let me know. But before we get on to the next question, here is a message from the sponsor who, in part, helped make this episode possible.
If you're looking for a way to upgrade your favorite games, I've got an easy recommendation for you, Meeple Source. They have upgrades for hundreds of games, and I've personally bought and used several of them myself, so it's great to have them supporting this episode. Let's say you have Wingspan, but want to upgrade the action cubes. No problem. If you're me, you'd go with this set of Blue Jays, but maybe you'd prefer Strawberry Finches, or Penguins, or Flamingos. They have close to 100 different types of birds you can choose to replace the action cubes with, so your copy of Wingspan can have its own unique combination of your favorite feathered friends. And these are quality wooden pieces, with birds in unique shapes and beautifully painted designs on both their sides. No stickers here. Want to upgrade the Wingspan food? You can do that too, bringing the original cardboard components to life in a new way. If you have the Oceania expansion, you can also upgrade the nectar, or maybe the start player marker for the base game. And these are just some of the upgrades they offer for Wingspan. Their website has loads more, and for Wormspan too. For example, if you want upgraded Wormspan player pieces, you can get complete set replacements for the dragons, dragon heads, explorers, and shield upgrades. And again, these come in a variety of color, shapes, and designs unique to each set, allowing players to pick their favorite options. You'll also find upgrades for the Wormspan resources, and hey, go big with an upgraded round marker, or go really big and get the upgraded start player dragon. So that's Wingspan and Wormspan, but don't worry, they've got you covered for the newest game in the Span family as well. For Finspan, you can get your own unique set of divers, once again in a variety of colors, and there's also an upgraded star player token. I like when I can take a game I already enjoy and give it that little something extra special, both for me and for the people I play it with. And like I said, there are many, many other game upgrades you'll find on the Meeple Source website for loads of other games. So be sure to visit their site by following the link in this video's description.
Our next question is, some people consider 2015 to have been one of the best years of all time for board games. So, what are the best games from that year? I checked. 2015, banger year for board games. It was a good one. And 2015 is one of those years I also hear people say that was the great year for board games. I also hear people say 2012. I also hear people say 2013, 14. That kind of golden age of board games, which is only 10 years ago. Often people say that the best year also happens to be the year where their favorite games came out, because it's a completely subjective, completely personal preference. But yeah, 2015 was fantastic. And I've got some fantastic games that came out that year. So my personal biased top picks from 2015 are Discoveries, the Journals of Lewis and Clark. This is a sequel to just Lewis and Clark, I think it was called. And this is a dice placement kind of set collection game. It's quick, it's fast, the artwork is just top tier. This one got overlooked a lot, I feel like. Or maybe just frankly wasn't as loved by so many people as much as I personally enjoyed it. But Discoveries was a fantastic little game that I liked quite a lot. The next one is Shakespeare. Oh, Shakespeare. What a fantastic game. This one's all about, there's quite a few avenues to win this one. You're playing these characters out, recruiting more characters to try to win on some tracks. You're building up your stage. It's just a really special game, Shakespeare, to me personally, and it's one that is in desperate need of a reprint, and I really hope it gets that, because it certainly deserves it. Again, we spoke about a lot here is Arboretum, one of my favorite card games that exists. It's been remade. It's beautiful. The second edition is equally beautiful. It's all about making these rows of cards. It's mean. It's Lost Cities-esque. It's fantastic. Then we've got Nippon, which just was launched on crowdfunding somewhere. They're doing a special edition of it, Nippon. Big economic game, but truly a beautiful system. It's a great game, Nippon. Viticulture Essential Edition came out in 2015. Viticulture was my favorite game of all time for a very long time. I love Viticulture. It's near perfect game. Seven Wonders Duel came out in 2015. Again, that one got remade into I've got it somewhere. What's it called? The Journeys to Middle Earth. It's Lord of the Rings, Seven Wonders Duel. A lot of classics that have, got the 10-year edition. 10 years on, they've gone, we should remake this. And the final one I've got is a bit of a wild card, because that's a little game called Daxu. And Daxu is just a gorgeous little two-player head-to-head game about making markets. There's so many games in 2015 which are good. Blood Rage, Code Names, Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Pandemic Legacy Season 1, I think, is the defining game of that year. And that's, I think, why a lot of people harken back to 2015 as being such a fantastic year. But what were your favourite games from 2015? Did that make it one of the best years of all time? And if not, what do you think the best year of all time was for board games? I always argue that there are no bad years for board games, but you can still have your favourite. So what was it? And the final question I have for you this month is this morbid? What's on your board game bucket list? What's that thing within the board game hobby, that thing that you want to do before you shuffle off this mortal coil? But this could be anything on your board game bucket list. Design a board game. Play a game with Chaz Marler. Go on a board gaming cruise. What is beat Knizia in a battle of wits somehow? I think the big one for me really is kind of more of a personal achievement thing, if that makes sense. And I would love a board game room. Now, having a board game room would need a house for that board game room to go inside of. So that's part of it. This is why it's more of a personal journey kind of thing. Having a dedicated board game room and not having shelves of board games in my bedroom, which is where I am right now, you don't see what I see. It would give me the ability to invite people over, have a space that was nice and tidy and clean and fun and cool and good lighting and a nice board gaming table of some description. My games on show and be able to have space for everything. At the moment, a lot of my board games are just in big plastic boxes stacked up at the end of my bed. That's my board game bucket list. To have my own board gaming room, but in order to achieve that, there's a lot of other things that have got to happen first. I guess on my board game bucket list would be having a girlfriend that enjoys board games. But again, more of a long-term situation with that. Because first, I would need a girlfriend. I guess designing a game is something I would like to do. I have an idea for a card game that I would, I've given some thought to, but I've never really dedicated time to. So maybe designing some type of game would be fun, but it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not a guaranteed success. Gosh, certainly not. So that's something I would like to do. There are conventions I'd like to go to. Tokyo Game Market would probably be on my board game bucket list. How about you? What are the core things on your board game bucket list? Is it playing Carcassonne in Carcassonne? Going to Gen Con? Anything. Let me know what are the things that made your board game bucket list, and I look forward to seeing those below. But until next time, thank you so much for being here and giving me the opportunity to talk to you and with you about board games. If you have any answers to any of the questions this month, or comments or questions or concerns, let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing them. Thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly mean that. And I'll see you next time. Bye.